the people that we should have love for the sake of God. To love righteous people is a part of faith. وروى الإمام مالك في الموطأ عن أبي إدريس الخولاني أنه قال: دخلت مسجد دمشق فإذا فتى شاب براق الثنايا وإذا الناس حوله ومعه إذا اختلفوا في شيء أسندوا إليه وأصدروا عن قوله، فسألت عنه فقيل: هذا معاذ بن جبل. فلما كان الغد هجرت فوجدته قد سبقني بالتهجير ووجدته يصلي، فقعدت حتى قضى صلاته، ثم جئته من قبل وجهه فسلمت عليه ثم قلت: والله إني لأحبك. فقال معاذ: الله؟ فقلت: الله. فقال: الله؟ فقلت: الله. فقال ثلاثا: الله. فقلت: الله. فأخذ بحبوة ردائي فجذبني إليه وقال: أبشر فإني سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول: قال الله تبارك وتعالى: وجبت محبتي للمتحابين في والمتجالسين في والمتزاورين في والمتبادلين في. Abu Idris said, I entered the Damascus mosque and there was a young, charismatic young man sitting down with a dashing smile with people around him, gathered around him. Whenever they disagreed about something, they would return to him. They would ask him. And they would proceed based off what he said. So I inquired about him. Abu Idris telling the story saying, I inquired about him. Who is this man? And it was told that this man is Mu'adh bin Jabal, radiallahu anhu. He said, so then when it was the day after, the next day, I went to noon prayer. And I found that he had preceded me in coming and attending. So I waited until he finished his prayer. I waited until he finished his noon prayer. And then I went forward to him, from in front of him, and I greeted him, Assalamu alaikum. And then I proceeded to tell him, Wallahi inni la. By Allah, I love you for the sake of Allah. By Allah, I love you for the sake of Allah. He said, Mu'adh said, by Allah. I said, by Allah. He said it 3 times, by Allah. I said, by Allah. He then said, rejoice, be happy, for I heard the messenger, peace and blessings be upon him, say that God has said that my love, God's love, is obliged for those who love for his sake, for those who love each other for his sake, and those who sit with each other for his sake, and those who visit one another for his sake, and those who are generous with one another for his sake. Those who are generous with one another for his sake. Who is Mu'adh bin Jabal? Who is this young man who people would go and try to listen to and ask? One of the mighty companions of the Prophet ﷺ. The companion who the Prophet ﷺ told him he loved him. The companion who told us about the supplication after Salah, Allahumma a'inni ala dhikrika wa shukrika wa husni ibadatik, comes from him. The story goes, the Prophet ﷺ told him, I love you, Mu'adh. I love you. Never leave to recite this supplication after every prescribed prayer. Oh Allah, help me in remembering you, in giving you thanks, and worshiping you well. One of the mighty companions. We should all know his story. But going back to the initial story we mentioned, Abu Idris al-Khawlani, when he saw this religious, pious young man, and he heard who he was, he went up to him and confessed his love. He went up to him and said, I love you. for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Following the command of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who said, إِذَا أَحَبَّ الرَّجُلَ أَخَاهُ فَلْيُخْبِرْهُ أَنَّهُ يُحِبُّهُ. فَلْيُخْبِرْهُ أَنَّهُ يُحِبُّهُ. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, he commanded us, that if a man loves another for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if he's a righteous man or if he's a pious man, and he loves him for what he does, or what he appears to be, then let him go and confess his love to him. Let him go and tell him, I love you for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On the authority of Abu Hurairah, may Allah please with him, who said the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Messenger of Allah, said, Allah will say on the day of resurrection, where are those who love one another for my sake? Where are those who love one another through my glory? Today I shall give them my shade when there are no shades but mine. When there are no shades but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's. And one of the 7 kinds of people who will be under the shade of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala on the day of judgment, one of the 7 are those who love one another for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Are those who love one another for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. الإسلام يبنى على الحب ولا يمكن أن تكون وليا لله حتى تحب أولياء الله. فمن هم أولياء الله؟ أولياء الله هم أهل المسجد، هم أهل المصحف، هم أهل الصوم، هم أهل القرآن، هم أهل الاستقامة والخير والحب للمسلمين. قال تعالى إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون ومن يتولى الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا فإن حزب الله هم الغالبون. Your ally, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, your ally is none other but Allah and His Messenger and the believers and those who believe. For indeed the party of Allah, the group of Allah, will be the predominant, will be the winners. أقول ما تسمعون وأستغفر الله العظيم لي ولكم من كل ذنب فاستغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم.